Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast, where we'll be looking at Bitcoin. And today, I just wanted to sort of draw some pattern for you guys that I saw in the chart and sort of how bullish this looks to me. So, now I'll see if you can see that. We basically have been bumping up against this previous all-time high where there's a ton of resistance. We've been bumping it, bump, 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 break above, retest, and now we're starting to go. You can see it, and I think once this next daily candle comes in, this will be like the official sort of breakout. Maybe look at like a candle like that, possibly. So I just wanted to share that. I also wanted to see if we can look up some of the different Bitcoin treasuries, because I think it's interesting, and I think there will be some publicly traded companies who are coming out soon who might be added to this list. Based on what everyone is saying on Twitter, there have been massive amounts of Bitcoin taken off exchanges using Coinbase, and it looks to me and to others like corporations buying. There's certain ways that they have to custody the Bitcoin, and you can just tell with the volume of Bitcoin being taken off exchanges. It's a big deal. So, but let's just look. I mean, check out all the Bitcoin right now that are just sitting. We have 1,422,816 Bitcoin that are off of exchanges. They are being put to work through different things. So here's some of the ETFs recently that were put out. You can see, and that's just Canada, right? So imagine when we get the United States ETF, which I really think we will. I mean, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think that those two are right on track for an ETF. And you can see sort of like, okay, some of these companies have smaller amounts. MicroStrategy, 91,579 Bitcoin. So I think we have a Bitcoin supply issue, and I wanted to talk about that in this episode as well. And let's just talk about who's buying Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin treasuries, corporate treasuries like I'm showing you here. You have governments, right? I think even they might be listed on here. Ukraine. Ukraine government. Wealthy individuals, right? People who have, and we have wealthy individuals coming in, family offices, macro investors, hedge funds, banks, the originals, right? The OGs. You know that they're probably continuing to buy, but they're definitely hodling. And we do have a list of these people. We have the Winklevoss twins, who I think have 170,000 to 200,000 Bitcoin. Chamath is thought to have 1 million Bitcoin in his possession. Mike Novogratz estimated 300 to 500,000 Bitcoin. Grayscale obviously is on this treasury list. Roger Ver is thought to have a large sum of Bitcoin, possibly 100,000. Raoul Pal, another wealthy individual, is thought to have maybe 777 Bitcoin, just an estimate. Jack Dorsey has always said he buys the max amount of Bitcoin that he can each day. So I think he might have upwards of like 5,000 Bitcoin. And the list goes on and on. We obviously have the Guggenheim Fund. We have Brian Armstrong, Dan Moorhead, Elon Musk has said he's invested personally in Bitcoin. We have Michael Saylor. We have Peter Miller. We have Tudor Jones. We have Drunken Miller. We have the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and George Soros. Anyway, those are some of the specifics. We have some average Bitcoiners like myself and probably you who are just stacking, right? We're just constantly stacking Bitcoin. Living the Bitcoin life, living the minimalist life, not really doing too much in terms of spending. We're obviously staying healthy, staying active in our education, things like that. But there's so many of us who are just constantly stacking, who are setting that floor of the price. We have endowments. It's said that some Ivy League endowments have been allocating to Bitcoin for at least the past year now. So that's a big deal. We have insurance companies now who NYDIG is working with to possibly even pay people out in Bitcoin in the future. We have obviously the ETFs who are on here. We have exchanges, right? Exchanges always have to be constantly buying Bitcoin. Square, PayPal, Coinbase, Kraken, all these, they always have to have an amount of Bitcoin that they're able to obviously sell. But exchanges, the Bitcoin on exchanges is at an all-time low. And demand just continues to go, right? Demand just continues to go for Bitcoin. So, and then let's keep going. We have miners who are shown to be accumulating. So the Bitcoin miners are shown to be not really trying to sell. That's the news that I'm hearing. Is the hash rate is at an all-time high, which means Bitcoin miners are putting out the most amount of power they've ever put out to mine Bitcoin right now, and they're just accumulating it, and some of them are even hodling it. So if there's no Bitcoin to sell when the miners decide to hold it, we should see a supply crisis. We have local governments, right? We have states like Tennessee, Kentucky, Louisiana, Florida, Texas. They all want to be a part of the Bitcoin mining process. So we have that. They're giving incentives for Bitcoin miners. They want to use clean energy. They want to use nuclear energy. We have Satoshi being awarded, right? I don't know. I forget which state it was. I think it was Louisiana. He was awarded some type of award for his invention of Bitcoin. We have central banks. We have Iran and Venezuela who are mining Bitcoin. We have other countries. Obviously, Germany has come out and said any of the hedge funds that operate in Germany can now buy cryptocurrencies starting in July 1st. And obviously, I already said family offices. But look, the price is a mirage here, right? This is a mirage. The price should be a lot higher, okay? These people are very good at distributing the news in a certain way so that these newbies are selling their coins. They're also good at manipulating the price. So most likely, they basically, on certain days, they choose to pop a sell order in, and then people see that, and they get scared, and then they sell. And it's a cascading event. And then these people then go and pick up more Bitcoin. So these bankers and hedge funds and rich people, they know how to pick up more coins. Right now, it's the weak hands that are getting shaken out. And they're giving their coins to the longer-term holders. That's what the data is saying right now. And all the information is on chain. You can check out Pomp podcast and also Willy Woo. Recently, Pomp had a guy on, I think his name's William, who went over the supply crisis that Bitcoin is having. So right now we're sort of in this accumulation phase, and we've been in the phase for, probably since the 26th of April. So not too long, but you can see, it's sort of been every other red, green, red, green, red, green, double green, red, test, come back and test that support perfectly. It obviously dipped a little bit lower. Hopefully you guys caught that. And then bam. I think that's where we're headed now. See, we're already at 58,000 since I started recording this. So while retail is dumping their Bitcoin, giving their coins to longer term hodlers, all the information, again, we can see it. That's a great thing about blockchain. It's a great thing about Bitcoin. It really gives me, and hopefully gives you, peace of mind in having a large amount invested in Bitcoin, is knowing that we can see the data. And right now the data is telling us that this is not a top. We're not even close to the top. There's many different validations to that. And, I think once we get there, we'll see some of the long-term hodlers moving their Bitcoin onto exchanges. That's what we usually see at the top, towards the top of bull markets. Obviously, usually we even blow off even more. A lot of these hodlers who have a ton of Bitcoin, whales they call them, are people who sort of scale out as we go up and up. So they'll probably start selling around, I would say probably 150,000 to 200,000, and then maybe we see a blow off top to 300,000. So this is the perfect storm for Bitcoin that we're in, okay? So let's talk about that. Not only are we in mass adoption right now with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, we're also seeing the beginning of hyperinflation in the United States, endless money printing from the Federal Reserve. We are seeing a generational change in demographics where millennials are up and coming now, and we are the talent that is supplying the market. And a lot of talented developers are going to crypto right now. And we're also seeing a move towards decentralization. People don't want to have a centralized government telling them what to do. They want to have more freedom. And that's why you see people moving to Florida and Texas right now, is because basically those states are a little bit more free, a little bit more lax. And people might not admit it, right, to anyone, because it's hard to admit anything these days. But that's the reason that the real estate prices have shot up in those places. That's the reason everyone's moving there. And then the move towards just digitalization of everything, right? We live in a digital world now. And that favors Bitcoin as well. So there's so many different things that favor Bitcoin. And when you dive deep enough and you really do the work on Bitcoin, you understand that you're saving in a currency that is mathematically designed to go up in value. Bitcoin is completely decentralized. The miners are actually run by the nodes, which are sort of checking the miners. That's how it works. And there's more nodes than miners. Anyone can run a node. I could run a node. You could. It's pretty easy. And by running a Bitcoin node, you're helping secure the network and creating a more decentralized network. Everything in Bitcoin is based on incentives. The miners are incentivized by the reward they receive. The nodes are incentivized by the security they're providing to the network and inherently increasing the value of their asset. The Bitcoin investor is incentivized by growing the network and participating in the network. Bitcoin is a huge network effect asset. It's probably going to be the biggest of all time because it has to do with money, right? And that's what the world is basically based on money. So if you think of it as that, if this is the Amazon of money, what is that worth? Is that worth 2 trillion? Probably not. It's probably worth 100 trillion. Right now we're at 1 trillion. So that would be a $5 million Bitcoin. There you go. And once you teach someone about Bitcoin, they buy it. And I suggest to anyone who hasn't bought Bitcoin, just buy some. Don't even do any research. Buy it, just buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I think we're not in a scenario where it's going to go to zero or anything crazy. Put $25 into Bitcoin, and then see what you think. I mean, it's cool. Like it's see what you think of it. Don't do it on Robinhood. Try to do it on an exchange, and then try to get like a Ledger Nano S and transfer your coins over, and feel what it feels like to have complete sovereignty over your money, right? Because right now, probably not a lot of people who are new to the space or just in general don't have sovereignty of their money. They don't have hard assets, right? Like silver and gold or physical metal, or, a ledger where you can send your coins, and then your coins are stored in a specific wallet that is programmed onto the Bitcoin blockchain. So your money and your wallet is secured by the blockchain itself, which is more secure than any bank because it's completely decentralized. So they can't it's not going to fail, right? The price might go down, but to actually fail as a network, it's getting harder and harder as time goes on for Bitcoin to fail because of the increase in miners and the increase in nodes and the increase in participants and the increase in value. They all make the network more secure, and you're putting your money onto that. And you can send it to anyone that has Bitcoin, that has a wallet. And that's true sovereignty, right? Not a lot of things can provide that. And you can send it instantaneously. It's not like silver and gold where I might go to a farm and be like, hey, can I get a thing of eggs and give them a silver dime? Which you can probably still do nowadays, actually, I think. So it's not like that. It's obviously like people have to be into the Bitcoin network to facilitate that transaction. But it's a lot easier to move value. You're moving digital gold across the world in 30 minutes, right? It's insane. It's the greatest invention of all time, possibly. So anyway, I would say we're about to be in a spot where Bitcoin is moving back up. We get this V-shaped recovery, bam, bam, and we're on our way to, I'm going to say 75,000. I know people that look at the Fibonacci ratios, and they measured it from here, and one of the ratios that usually Bitcoin hits is actually at 75,000. So obviously I'm not like a trader, but you want to get coins now while you still can, because once it goes up to 300K, it's probably not coming back down to these levels ever again. Usually it does not. Usually the next bull run doesn't come back to the previous all-time highs. I think it will probably end up, who knows? I mean, there is a lot of support in this region now. So this is a key region. I think if we go up to 100K, I could see it coming back down 37% and testing this all-time high. And maybe even just, I mean, it in a crazy shakeout scenario. And then I think we pump from there. It's all about getting the weak hands out. That's all a bull market is. It's riding the bull, right? You're riding the bull. You're riding the bull. And the whole point is for the bull to shake you off to the upside or the downside, right? That's the whole point of a bull market. That's why they call it that. So I hope that you guys have a great night and be blessed and spread positivity, make positive changes throughout the world and throughout your own life. And to do that, I would suggest to buy some Bitcoin and hodl. Have a good night.